Okay, good morning, eighth graders. Talking to you from my dining room again today. Guys, real quick, it is Wednesday, April 1st. Couple of changes to the lesson plans for tomorrow and Friday. Number one, I just sent the email out, and um, today's video is going to be pretty short and sweet. Um, but Wednesday, Bourbon Reconstruction. What were some of the issues with the Andrew Johnson presidency? What did William Seward buy? They called it Seward's Folly. Why was Andrew Johnson, not Jackson? Some of you guys put Jackson. Why was Andrew Johnson impeached? And what were some issues with U.S. Grant's presidency? And part of this had to do with the industrial giants of the country. What were some of the and what speaking of which, what were some of the Grant scandals? Guys, you got a lot of questions today. I know that there's like what 20 or something like that. Um, so this is what we're going to do tomorrow and Friday. There is a excellent Mandy Patinkin Ellis Island video history channel. The whole thing's on YouTube. It's in two parts. I'm going to have you guys do that tomorrow and Friday, and then and I'll have some questions for you. I'm not going to do YouTube videos tomorrow and Friday, um, but I am going to have you guys listen to. I would like you guys to listen to a little bit of, and I won't put it on here right now because of the copyright laws. But Neil Diamond coming to America. Maybe I will tomorrow, but for a quick second, listen to Neil Diamond coming to America. Your folks will love it. But also, once again, YouTube, Mandy Patinkin, it's actually divided into two parts. Each one's like 45 minutes long. Um, and it talks about Ellis Island in New York, and many of your families came through there. So, also, guys, I want you to think using your brain. Think about, guys, similarities between how African Americans were treated on the East Coast and how Asian Americans were treated back in this time period on the for the same thing. All right, because a lot of the laws that were used in the Old South that were done in the Old South were actually quite tragically done out here. Ku Klux Klan. Why do these nutcases still exist? You can go on YouTube and you can see some pretty ugly. There's one that was done by Peter Jennings on the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan that'll pretty make you pretty nauseous. So I don't want you guys to lose your lunch or your dinner over watching them. But understand these guys still exist. They're still up here in the Northwest, and I have no idea why. You know how I feel about racism. Treating somebody by the color of your skin is totally moronic. Quote me on that again. And all this could have been avoided as you guys are reading. And this is one of the reasons why I want you guys to read about this. Question on today's things has to do with the 2000 election. Um, and it's one of your last questions talks about um, and I'm gonna uh, let's see. The question has to do with the oh, it's not on 316. It's the one on before it. It's on the election of 313 election. I'm just gonna explain that real quick. Um, let's see. Describe the circumstance. Let's see. All right. Anyway, guys, I was trying. Oh, here we go. The ones on page 313. Um, the unusual results of the 1876 election, and compare that election with the 2000 election. I'm only going to be brief here. The 2000 election is where George Bush Jr., George Bush, the son, down in Florida, there was an issue. The election was neck and neck, totally close. Al Gore felt like he had been robbed of the election. I'm giving you this so that you can give you some ammunition that this is what I want you to understand to help answer the question. All right. So there was no clear winner. The election was so close in several states. All right, in the 2000 election. And people call this the era of the hanging Chad because down in Florida, And George Bush Jr., his brother was governor of Florida, Jeb Bush. Um, anyway, there was like 1,000 vote difference. You know, you got 1 million people voting and you got 1,000 votes difference. And people were actually hand counting and hand recounting votes. So this was one of those elections where where the every single vote counted. It says here in 1876 there was no clear winner, and you can use this on your answering your question because 3 states' electoral votes were counted. A special commission had to determine whether the Republican votes or the Democratic votes would count. And once again, This happened in the 2000 election. They did a recount in Florida, and the Supreme Court decided who won the election, and it was George Bush Jr. So, okay, guys. Other thing I asked you guys with regards to redemption and African Americans holding office. This whole thing, um, started. What was an appropriate term for you to use? Was to redeem uh, for the removal of African Americans and Republican officials from political office. Anyway, the whole thing was a tragedy because essentially it set us back to uh, the people that were in power before. They just used the laws against the African Americans, like somebody would, and this happened for a long time. Um, you're walking down the street, you cross the middle of the street like anybody else was. Well, because you're African American, you get arrested, you get thrown in jail, you get charged with a felony, and congratulations, now that you have a felony conviction, because it was an all-white jury that convicted you, now you can't vote. Trust me, this happened. Um, and this is where we had to have more civil rights legislation, okay, later on, but unfortunately it took like 80 years to do it. So, guys, that's just kind of a heads up. People in the South got arrested for dumb stuff. And I'm not going to say everybody. I'm just going to say African Americans in the South. They got arrested for dumb stuff so that their voting rights and their civil rights personally could be taken away so that you could not elect African American officials to Congress. This happened for a long time. All right. That's the gist of it. All right, guys. So hope this is short and sweet. You guys have a blessed day. I hope you guys are having a good time. I sure miss you guys, and I'm looking forward to the Easter season. So once again, what um, we're gonna do tomorrow and Friday is Ellis Island. Monday, Transcontinental Railroad. Yes, you're gonna see these things. You have any questions? You have any concerns? Get a hold of me. Scott, SCOTT .winter at symbol Cedar Park, CEDARPARK.org. Love you guys. Miss y'all. Have a blessed day. Bye bye.